Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Joyride podcast. I know that it's been a little while since you have gotten an episode from me, so I'm going to be completely blunt and honest, as I always am on this podcast. I have recorded several episodes over the past few months, and each time I record, they've been at odd, weird times. I'm talking like 11 o'clock on a Friday night, just like super weird times where I just feel fully connected and I'm channeling and I'm like, this is the fucking time. I need to show up. I need to record a podcast. Then I do. And then for some reason, I'm like, I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over how I'm feeling in the moment. I'm ready to move on to the next thing. And because of that, I haven't felt this drive to put out an episode because I move on so quickly. But I had a friend voice note me today, and she really, really reminded me of the power that we all have within us. And I had sent her a voice note. I had sent her two, probably within the span of like a month ago. So they were a long time ago. And she responded today, and she said, "You always tell me exactly what I need to hear." And I can't remember the exact words that she said, but something about my voice and just my message and how it grounds her. And she's like, "I hate that I wait so long to listen to these because I just know how good they are for me," and the whole thing. And it really, really reminded me of this power that we all have within us. We all are moving at a different pace on a different timeline. We're all on different parts of our journey, right? Like we're all just doing such different things. And I know for me personally, I move on from one thing to the next in so many areas of my life so quickly, but especially emotionally. When I go through something, I've worked really, really hard to process it in real time, in the moment. And because of that, the next day I can feel something totally different. A lot of this goes back to my astrology, my human design, and like really, really diving deep into understanding myself and getting to the root of my own discovery within myself. So because I know this energy has stopped myself from putting things out because I move on so quickly. I'm like, I'm over it. So if I'm over it, then what the heck is it going to do for someone else? But this energy has stopped me in my tracks, and it has stopped me from accumulating success, and it has stopped me from, getting different types of relationships, whether that's like a romantic relationship or, a business relationship. Like, I just know that this energy has stopped me from getting so many things that I know that I'm worthy of in my life because I'm like, oh, it's not perfect. It doesn't matter, or I'm over it and I'm ready to move on to the next thing. So I really wanted to get into the idea behind perfectionism and how it's really honestly just like taken over my life for as long as I've known, to be honest. And I really want this to be a deep, introspective episode where you walk away and you are able to shine a bright ass light on some aspect of your life. Like, I really want you to walk away and pick just one aspect, because if you are able to transform one aspect of your life, those effects are going to trickle into every other aspect of your life, I promise you. And I know that I'm guilty of this. I'm a man gen, I'm a Gemini moon. I have so much energy all the time, and I'm like, well, I want to do it all. I want to do it all. I want to work on it all. I want to manifest this. I want to do that. I want to do that. And what happens is I'm not consistent with a lot of those things. And then a lot of things don't manifest. And I'm like, okay, but I'm trying to do it all at once. So let me take it back and let me scale it back and let me really, really focus on one thing. And this episode is being recorded on the first day of Scorpio season. So happy Scorpio season to everyone. I really, really love water sign seasons, especially because they force me to really, really go inwards in such a different way than every other season. I mean, with the fire seasons, I'm like, let me put myself out there and let me just shake shit up and let me start things and let people know who the fuck I am and let me be known. With earth sign seasons, I'm like, let me ground into myself and to my energy and really focus on my body and what it needs and habits and routines and all of that. With the air sign seasons, a bitch is all up in her head, which is sometimes a really, really good thing. But a lot of times I'm just like in this analysis paralysis. I can't escape this hell. Let me get the fuck out of my head. But then in water seasons, it forces me to really go deep and go inwards and tap into my deepest emotions and allows me to really navigate the darkness, which can be really scary for a lot of us. A lot of us are really brutally so scared of being so honest and raw and open and real with ourselves. But like, we have to face our own shit, because no book, no person, no podcast episode, no nothing outside of you is going to elicit true, real change in your life. Trust me, I have tried for many years. I'm like, oh my gosh, this one astrology session is going to change my life. This one book is the key. This one mentor. Just trust me on this. It never fucking works. And they're all, pieces of the puzzle, and they all give me medicine for what I need in that moment. But at the end of the day, I'm like, Rebekah, bitch, I love you so much, and you are the only person that can actually make a change. You're the only person in your body with these thoughts. And I just want to remind you of that, because yes, we are all here to be part of another person's story. And I hope that if you follow along my journey and you listen to this podcast and you engage in my content that I put out, that like I spark something within you that allows you to go deeper. That's always what I want to be giving to people. But at the end of the day, it is you. So let's get into it. Perfectionism. It is something that has come to the forefront for me over the past month or so. And I'm seeing the patterns of perfectionism play out in my life, and how perfectionism is taking over so many areas of my life. I'm also working on my relationship with time and what that has to do with perfectionism and recognition in my life. But all of these things, I believe, come down to my need and my want of everything being perfect in my life. I have always been known as the girl that like people look at me and they think I've got it all together and I'm perfect and like I'm thriving and I'm this and I'm that. And I don't want to discredit myself and say that I haven't worked really, really hard in so many areas of my life, because I have been able to achieve so much, and I have worked really, really hard in specific areas of my life. And I believe that, like I've put in the work, and I'm so grateful that people look at me as an example and as a role model and all these things. But it also just gets to me, because I'm like, people truly have no fucking idea what happens behind closed doors, how much work, how much like deep inwards work I've had to do, how many nights I've just like cried myself to sleep and I've had to look at myself in the mirror. And still to this day, I have moments where I'm like, what am I doing? Where am I going? I don't know the answers. But I'm also projecting this image onto other people of I know all the answers. And it's been really debilitating, and it's been really hard, because even with this podcast and my work, it's like I've convinced myself if I'm not perfect and if I don't know the answers and show people the way, they're not going to hire me. Why would they want to work with me if they're not going to get the results that they want? And to be fair, we just live in this society of instant gratification. Like, I get it. And I always tell people, don't work with someone, don't go out and seek something from someone if they don't have what you have. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. If I work with a trainer, if I'm, working with someone in the realm of health and wellness, I'm like, I need them to embody what they're giving me, because why the fuck else would I come to them, Like, you're not going to work with a personal trainer who's super overweight and clearly looks like they don't take care of their health. Like, you just wouldn't do that. But at the end of the day, and I know that so many people say this, but like, we all don't know what we're doing, but we do to a certain extent. Like, I think that phrase is thrown around too lightly, because there are areas of my life where I know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I really feel like I'm an expert. I've excelled at this. I know what to do. And there are other areas of my life where I'm like, I don't know jack shit. And like, I'm a novice and I'm an amateur and I don't know what I'm doing. Like, plenty of areas in my life. So I really want you to think, like, what areas of my life am I truly thriving? Like, where am I excelling? Where have I put in the work? I'm talking like not just physical work here, like the emotional work, the spiritual work, the healing work to really, really transform and transcend in one area of my life. And then what other areas, it's probably the areas that you are desiring things the deepest. And I actually have a note down for me to do this week because I really want to, and I will, because I'm committing myself to this, do an hour of shadow work each week. It's something that like, it'll come up here and there, things that just come to the forefront where I'm like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. And then I have this revelation, but I really, really want to dive deep because I know that what I'm truly, truly desiring are things in my life that I don't yet know how to get. And I've had these very powerful reflections and connections and patterns come to the surface around like my home life and love and relationships and financial things where I'm like, oh my God, I've been living in this state because of what happened to me or because of past events. So my subconscious is just playing out what I've always known and it's what's comfortable for me. So in order to change that, I need to have the awareness and then I need to really explore that awareness and then do something differently. But with that being said, now I'm losing my train of thought, so I'm trying to go back to perfectionism and all of this. So what you deeply, deeply desire. I really thought that I desired, I mean, at the core of me, I'm like, but I do want things to be perfect. Like, I hate when my skin is not perfect. I hate when I don't look and feel perfect. I hate when someone criticizes me or says, you could do this better. Like, it really bothers me because even from a young kid, like I wanted to be perfect and I always wanted to do things right. But my perfectionism specifically has stopped me from being consistent in so many areas of my life. And how does this show up with the other two themes that I'm working on in my life right now, which are my relationship with time and being recognized? Because I have put so much importance on perfectionism, a lot of times in my life, I have felt like, well, it's not the perfect timing. Like, I'm just not ready to show up yet. Or even like things that are superficial, like showing up online, whether that's creating a YouTube video or showing up on my Instagram stories. I'm like, I look ugly. I don't like how I look right now. My skin is breaking out. I'm noticing this about my face. I don't look perfect, so I don't want to show up. And then what either happens is, like, I'm just so hard on myself on being perfect, or I'm just like, fuck this, and then I throw in the towel, and I'm like, I'm not going to do anything at all, which basically forces me to operate on either end of the spectrum, and then nothing happens. But it's like I do continue to show up in other areas of my life, and it's not like I stop doing all this stuff altogether, but it's like I'm really not consistent in the sense of, if someone's doing something 20 days in a row, I'm like, I'm going to show up 4 days when it's perfect and just hope and pray and wish that like more good things are going to come to me. And let me tell you, when I got faced with this realization of like, you are not doing as much as you actually think that you're doing because you're waiting for the times that are perfect. I mean, I have been in so many, I can go back specifically to like an internship that I had when I was a sophomore in freaking college. I mean, I'm 29 now, so it's been a long time. And I remember telling someone, yeah, I want to start making YouTube videos and be a personal trainer and all these things and like all these things that I have done in my life. But I remember thinking like when I have more time, when I have the perfect amount of time, and I know for me, if I have more time, it actually works against me. And I've been so hard on myself for so long. I'm like, I really want to be that entrepreneur that's like, I wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. and I get all these things done and I'm super willful and I'm super decisive and I'm super this and I'm super that. And I'm like, but I'm just not that. But at the same time, I'm trying to gather the will and gather the discipline, but at the same time, this energy of like, but you gotta be perfect has been weighing down on me. So it's like year after year after year, even though I have made a lot of progress outwardly, and I don't want to say that like I haven't done shit in my life, because like I really have done some really cool stuff, but outwardly it's like, okay, it looks like you've done all of this amazing stuff, but inwards it still feels like, have I actually made any progress? And yes, this is me. Again, I'm being honest and real. Like, this is me coming from the Virgo. I know that Virgos are very hard on themselves, but I also just want to be really honest with myself. And like, yes, I'm so proud of myself for doing things that some people could never dream of doing, which really, like, it really hurts me. I'm like, I just want to inspire people to go after their own joy and to like do really cool, epic shit. But at the same time, like, there are many areas in my life that I have held myself back from, and there are many areas in which I still have a lot of work to do. And like, yes, I can still live in this state of like balancing the good with the bad, the darkness and the light, but like, I am someone who is always striving to be better. And it's like, I'm in this phase of my life right now where I don't anymore want to strive for perfection or excellence or wait for the perfect moment, for the perfect this, because like that's literally never going to happen. But it's like, I always want to be striving for personal growth and personal development and personal empowerment. And that's what I want to preach to people. Like, I want people to know that, yes, I've done some amazing shit, and I'm here to inspire and to lead. But at the same time, like, I can also be working on a lot of things, and because I'm not perfect and because I'm just raw and I'm honest and I'm transparent and I'm vulnerable, like, that is what I want people to really be drawn towards. Like, oh shit, like, she, you know, she has both and she is doing both. And so many of us are just so scared to show up consistently when things aren't perfect, when we haven't reached that goal, when we haven't reached that goal in our business, you know, that goal of like what we want to weigh or how we want to look or even how we want to feel, right? In our marriage, in our relationships, in our job. Like, so many of us are searching for that perfect moment. And I always have felt like I feel perfect when I'm just so present in the moments that I'm just like so consciously aware of what I'm doing. And I know that that may sound like a lot, but for instance, like when I'm in my workouts, like time really doesn't exist. Like, I'm sweating. I look not my greatest because, like, you know, I'm not wearing makeup and my hair's who knows what it looks like, and I'm sweating my ass off and I'm working hard. And those are the moments where I feel the most me, because I'm dedicated and I'm consistent and I show up and I feel strong and I feel sexy and I'm powerful. And like when I'm in a session with someone or when I'm doing readings with someone, I have these moments where I'm like, fuck, man, like this is where I'm supposed to be. And I may not say the perfect answer. I may not even know the answer, but for some reason, for some odd reason, because we all are channeling God, it's like I say exactly what needs to be heard. And it's like I just have to remind myself of this because I can just get so caught up in like, oh my gosh, I'm going to wait until this exact time for me to go to the gym because of my energy levels. It's like I prolong things and I consciously am aware that I push out things because I'm waiting for the perfect moment. And it has just doomed me for so long. Like, there are so many things, so many big things that I know that I'm capable of. And I know a lot of us can attest to this as well. We see our potential. If you're listening to this, you definitely can relate to this. You're like, I know what I'm here to do. I see my potential. You see the big vision. But it's like there are so many steps in between that take us from the position that we're in to the position that we know that we can be, that we know is like our destiny. We know that it's inevitable. But what stops so many of us is the idea of perfectionism, or, oh, I'm going to look dumb. I'm going to look stupid. I'm not going to know what I'm doing. I'm going to fail a million times. Like, we are all going through the same thing. Like, we're all thinking the same thing. And it's like, I just always forget that the people who have actually made it are just consistently showing up. And that doesn't mean that people don't change careers and they change interests and blah, blah, blah. They're still consistently showing up. And I know for someone like me who, like, I change strategies all the time. I change what I'm interested in all the time. Like, I really just want to take the world at face value in a sense and just be open and say, like, hey, if this is coming to me and I'm feeling this pull and this interest towards it, I want to run towards it. But again, I can get so lost in, like, just the idea of perfectionism. Oh, this work thing isn't perfect, so I don't want to put it out yet, and then it never happens. And I'm like, Rebekah, how are you going to get to the point that you know you're supposed to be in and live in if you aren't doing the in-between work? And that's so hard. It's so hard to face because it's like, well, I won't get there. Like, you genuinely won't get there. I remember when I started my workout program at the beginning of the year. This was the first time ever that I had been on a workout program. And I love working out. I love health and wellness. I was a personal trainer back in the day, but I never put myself on any type of program. I actually didn't even believe in them for the longest time. I'm like, I'm just intuitive and I just show up. I'm consistent in showing up. I show up, but then I just, like, allow myself to do whatever I'm feeling. But I started this program with a trainer, and there were so many movements where I was like, this sucks. Like, this is really hard and it's really, really challenging, and this sucks and it's taking me a long ass time. But you guys, I started to see results. And let me be clear, like, my body looked good before, but there were so many moments in between this program where I would show up in a workout class that was outside of my program, or I would show up for a work thing, just in other areas of my life, and I could see and feel the results of my workout program, and I was like, this is fucking cool. Like, I don't know. I'm sure I've experienced this at other times in my life, but I could just, like, so clearly feel and see the results trickle out into other areas of my life, and I'm like, okay, on the day-to-day, you really don't feel like you're making much progress, but then when you see photos of yourself and you look back and you just, like, have these moments where you're like, oh my gosh, it's actually working. And now it really still shocks me. I look at videos of myself and I look at photos of myself and my body just looks different. Like, I truly am able to look at myself and be like, this is the body that I'm supposed to be in. And it's because I was consistent and I was disciplined and I showed up. And what I did in that moment was perfect. Because listen, every workout was not perfect. There were days where I'm like, okay, I don't know if I can do a fourth set of this. It's a lot. Or I'm feeling really weak today because I'm on my period, or this or that. But it was because I showed up. I was consistent. And what I gave to that moment was perfect. And in the end, it paid off. Like, it really, really paid off. And, like, this is an area of my life where showing up just comes easy to me because I love it so much. And there are other areas of my life where I want to be that, like, especially when it comes to business and making money and success in my career and even in love. And I'm like, I want the energy that I have around my workouts and how I feel about health and wellness and fitness and all the things to transpire into these other areas of my life, because I have seen firsthand how the change is possible, because I'm living it. Like, I'm literally embodying it. And I want to remind you that there are areas in our life, going back to what I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, these things just come easy to us, like prioritizing myself, my emotional being, my physicality, my spirituality. Like, that has always come very easy to me. Granted, I've worked at it for a very, very long time, but it's because it's what truly interests me. Like, I will never, ever, ever be the girl that prioritizes making money or work or a relationship or something over my well-being. Like, it's just not who I am as a person. And I've stopped myself from, being satisfied and truly feeling fulfillment and richness, like the definition of like rich, not just like monetarily, but like feeling richness in these other areas of my life, because I've always thought like, well, if I give my all to these one areas, then I can't have the other. It's like, if I'm gonna do this, then I can't have that. But it's like, I've seen firsthand how putting my all into one area of my life does trickle out into all of the other areas. So again, it's like really taking the time, especially this week as we are, swimming in the waters, in the depths of intimacy and going deep, deep, deep inwards within ourselves, intimacy, into me, see, like, what do you see within yourself? What is at the forefront that's coming forward for you that like, I need to prioritize this one area in my life because it's going to make a profound effect on every other area of my life. Maybe you're like me and maybe it's perfectionism, or maybe it's like, I don't know, nothing's coming to mind right now, but there are so many other things that we can all work on. Maybe it's like anxiousness or this overwhelming feeling of fear, or maybe it's like your love life, or I don't know what it is. We all are dealing with something, but I promise you that if we are able to get to the core of this one thing, we will see such huge shifts happen in every other aspect of our life. And like, I'm ready. Like, a bitch is ready. It's like, I'm 29, man. I'm going to be 30 in less than a year. These are things that I've dealt with for like a fucking decade. And it's like, I just don't want to deal with them anymore. And like, I'm a very, very firm believer, and you can't really like force clarity sometimes. And I used to think the opposite. I'm like, just think harder, separate yourself, and the clarity will come. The clarity will come, but like, we have to continue to do what's best for us. And like, if we stay connected to God, and if we stay connected to this higher force, and we truly are connected to what is happening in our present moment, all of a sudden we mitigate the fear and the anxiety and the stress. It's something that has really changed my life by exploring my human design chart and knowing that one of my most powerful gifts is this gift of like, I can either be in the present moment and experience true abundance, or I can future trip and get lost in fear and anxiety and stress and the overwhelm of unknown and certainty. And I'm still battling between the both of them, but I always come back to like, when I'm here on planet Earth and I do the things like my workouts, or just expressing myself through communication, doing the things that I love, going on a walk, talking out loud, connecting to God. Like, we all have our things that we do that really, really ground us in that moment and where we are at right here, right now. I'm like, everything else just goes away. And truly, it's like, we can change anything at any given moment in time. We are the only people that stop us from that actually manifesting. And that's really hard. It's like, okay, well, the last 5 years of my life have been shitty because of this relationship or this or that. It's like, we can always change our energy. We can always change our consciousness. Now, if we're open to it, there are gonna be things that are brought up during certain periods of our life where you're like, holy shit, at least for me, I'm like, I have been waiting for these revelations for the past 10 years. And then all of a sudden they're coming up at once. Okay, cool, sick. Like, thank you so much, God. But like, this is a lot that I'm dealing with right now. But I believe that those things come to us for a reason. I mean, it all goes back to like astrology and your Saturn return, and why we have eclipse seasons, why we have Mercury in retrograde, why we have these really, really tough seasons in our life where it feels like when it rains, it pours. Right? Like, we, again, can't force this clarity that comes forward, but I am always so incredibly grateful and truly like in gratitude for when I have those aha moments of like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this reflection and revelation for so long. So what am I now going to do with it? Am I going to keep it to myself? Am I going to share it with the world? Am I going to do something about that? And I just want to remind you to not stop being consistent in what you're working towards. Like, if you are working towards that promotion in your job, if you are working towards like I'm just unfulfilled and I really want to find my why and I want to find my purpose, or, I want to change how I look and how I feel, or like I want to change my relationship status, like whatever it is. I really want this episode to remind you to be like, let's just continue to be consistent in ways that are truly serving us. So if it's like, listen, I really want to call in a beautifully aligned partner. It's like, okay, consistently, what can I do to call in this partner? I can consistently work on myself because everyone's a mirror of everyone else. So if we're working on ourselves and we're going inwards and we're doing the deep work and we're showing up for ourselves, in the gym with what we're eating, we're, putting all of our energy into our career. It's like if we're doing all these things that are making us a better person, then naturally the universe is going to give us more opportunities for aligned people to come across our path. And it may not be, okay, the first person that you go on a date with is going to be your husband, but the way that I see it is like for instance, I've been really working on how can I be more open, especially when it comes to men, because I know that like I'm ready for my life partner. Now, I don't think he's going to show up tomorrow because like I'm in the trenches and I'm really doing deep work. I know that he's going to show up on the other side of this, but like what can I do in order to start attracting that energy? And I've noticed for a long time, people would be like, oh, you can get whoever you want, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about, because literally no one comes up to me. It's either me, I'm super intimidating, or whatever. And I used to think like, no, I'm ready now and I'm open, but I wasn't. I really wasn't. But now, especially over the past few months, men come up to me all the time. Now, a lot of them I'm like, yeah, no, but like I appreciate what the universe is doing, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting somewhere here because I'm doing the inner work. I'm seeing it play out in my physical reality. And we just forget that. We think like, oh, I'm just going to go off of what my external is giving me, but it never works like that. It really doesn't work like that. Our reality or our external is just mirroring what's happening internally. That's really how everything works. And we all just like forget that or aren't conscious of that. So I just want to remind you to be consistent in how you are putting out your energy. Like what has been really keeping me so grounded throughout all of this is the energy that I'm putting out when I step foot outside of my home, outside of my apartment. When I'm going to a job, when I'm meeting with a client, when I'm at the gym, when I'm going to get a coffee, I'm like, I want to be a kind, inviting, warm human being. And every time that I'm conscious of that, like I really, really remind myself before I go somewhere, really great things happen. And I'm not saying like big things like, oh my God, I just manifested $1 million or my dream person just came across my path. But like I have really great conversations. I leave wherever I'm at feeling really good, feeling really fulfilled, and really just like really connected and really present to what I'm doing. So how can we stay consistent in the energy that we are putting forward? Maybe that's you committing to yourself. You're like, I want to start posting on TikTok more, or I want to start posting on Instagram more, or I want to start putting out my writing more. It's reminding ourselves to be consistent. Now, that doesn't mean at 8 a.m. every single day I'm going to do this. Like some people are designed to work like that, but a lot of people are not. But how can I consistently still put out the energy that I want to receive, even if I'm not 100% ready or if it's not 100% perfect? I'm going to be working on this throughout the remainder of the year, throughout the remainder of Scorpio season for sure. And I definitely want to report back on it because I'm challenging myself in many areas of my life because I don't want to stop myself anymore. There are things that I know that I'm destined to do. There's a life that I know that I'm destined to live. And I'm far away from it right now. But I remind myself, and I reminded myself of this yesterday, I'm like, it's a lot closer than I actually think. And because I have that thought, it's just getting closer. Because I have that thought and I'm now like, okay, am I willing, ready, and able to be consistent in these areas, even if I'm not perfect, even if my skin doesn't look perfect and I don't feel perfect. And maybe I'm like, ugh, nothing's coming to me. It's like, what can I continue to put out? Because I always think that like the universe and God is always watching over us. Always. Always, always, always. In every moment of every day, the universe is always like, what you doing over there? What are you giving me today? So it helps to remind myself when it feels like nothing's fucking working and nothing's happening, I'm like, okay, I have to ask myself this question. Am I actually putting in the work? And again, I really want to ingrain this in people. The work is not always physical work. It's not always putting in the 9 to 5 hours at your job. The work is like the inner work, the spiritual work, the emotional work. Like, we need to always put that at the forefront, okay? So I'm like, if I'm really doing the work, it's gonna pay off. And even if it's not paying off like that, you know, the instant gratification, because if we think about changing your body, right? This is just like the easiest example, especially for me, because I've seen it happen. It's like, you can't say, okay, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times and walk out with my dream body. It just is not possible. Like, it's not. And if you have, please, I mean, I would love for you to share with me how you did that, because it just is not possible, right? That's not to say that you have to bust your ass 6 days a week in the gym, but maybe it's like, I'm going to commit to 3 days a week. And maybe the 3 days change every week. Maybe it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Maybe it's Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Maybe it's, you know, I told myself I was going to go in for an hour, but like, man, I could really only do 45 minutes today and 30 minutes. At least you're consistent, right? At least you're showing up, because you will see results. You will be rewarded. Like, if you are putting the intentional energy and action towards something, there is no way that you won't be rewarded. And I know what has stopped me in the past is like, oh, no one cares, or I'm not being recognized, or I'm not getting the instant gratification. And that's a hard pill to swallow. It's really hard to admit that to myself, to admit that publicly to people, to be like, yeah, I think this way, and that's how I've performed. But it also helps to know that there are other areas of my life that I've devoted myself to for years and years and years, and I have seen the results. I have experienced the results. Like, the results are here. So when people tell me, God, Rebekah, you look so good, like, you just look so good, I'm like, thank you. I fucking should. I put in a lot of time and energy and work into taking care of myself. And, you know, it's people who do really, really well in business or do really, really well in their job. They're probably busting their ass, and they're consistent and they show up. I mean, I know that I look at some of my friends, and I used to look at them from a place of like being triggered and jealousy, but I'm like, man, these girls are like, they're working. They are putting in their hard-earned sweat, and maybe they are suffering in other areas of their life because, you know, usually that happens. If you're so focused and obsessed with one area, other areas of your life may fall short. But it's like, what areas do you really need to work on? And it's going to look different for everyone. I know there was a time in my 20s where I really just dedicated myself to figuring the fuck out who I was and what I wanted and what I was really, really good at. And I'm really proud to say that at this point in my life, I know a lot of that. And I'm still unclear in certain areas, but like for the most part, like I know my gifts, I know my skills, and I'm so grateful that I tried so many things. Do I wish that I would have done some things differently and been a little more consistent? Maybe, but like the position that I'm in right now is the position that I need to be in order to have these thoughts come through, these reflections, in order for me to transform moving forwards. We have to go through these things in order to, you know, just create new things, really. So really, really take the time to think this week, what is one area of your life? What is one theme? Maybe it's a word that you really, really want to work on. And I want you to challenge yourself to be really, really consistent. And it doesn't need to be the David Goggins, we're so mean to ourselves. You can do this in a very loving, graceful type of way. Like, I want you to really get crystal clear on what you desire. And if that's, making $1 million and living in this one, part of the world and traveling and doing whatever, like, hell fucking yeah. If you have that desire, you should have it. But we have to remember that it's our energy that gets us there. It's our energy that we're giving to the world. It's our energy that we're giving to ourselves. Because yes, we can all quantum leap. We can all, have some shortcuts along the way. You're going to meet people who are going to get you there quicker and faster. And that's what happens when you are pouring your energy and you are focused, on the things that you really, really want to see happen in your life. So I think that's all that I have for you today. I promise that I'm going to put out this episode and I'm going to stop myself from, playing out this pattern that I've had in the past of like, oh, this was just for me and now I'm over it, because it's not. Yes, I share a lot of my own life experiences and examples, but I also know that whoever needs to hear this is going to hear this. It doesn't matter if they hear it in 3 months or 3 years, really. It's like, this is the message that I have to share in this present moment. So that's perfect. And I want to put it out for the world. So thank you for listening. Happy Scorpio season. If you are feeling called to connect in any type of way, please, please, please reach out. I will leave all of my information down below, whether that's just through Instagram, or maybe you're like, I'm feeling called to work with you, whether that's long-term, short-term. Like, I really, really want to make it clear that I am doing the work because I feel very strongly about living out my joy, and I desperately need you to know that you are capable of doing the same. I know that I maybe don't know you if you're listening to this episode, but it is possible. Like, I believe in a world where we can live in such a rich world, truly. So please connect with me. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week and a great rest of your October. And just thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Please share this with someone that needs to hear it, whether that's your mom, your boyfriend, your friend. I'm sure that everyone could take away something from this episode. So thank you, and I will see you in the next one.